Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is the Big Girl Diary. Okay, I have an interesting one with you today, and I've been focusing a lot on Marilyn Manson. Yes, I have. For the specific reason is there are a lot of delusional women. And also within that delusion, they have an axe to grind. And it's all about that relationship that they didn't get. However, however, this particular one, from my understanding, Jane Doe, happens to be Lexa Vonn. Lexa Vonn. Now, she reminds me of, just looking at her, she reminds me of Stevie Nicks. Here you go again, you say you want your freedom. And who am I to keep you down? Okay. Yes, I'm a professional singer. They pay me to shut up, not to sing. I'm so silly. Okay. Now, what I find interesting about her is 2017. And it seems like something about this 2017 time frame is rather interesting. 2017 to 2018. Now, she said that they had a friendship and they were something about intimacy. Now, why is it that these women, whenever they have an intimate relationship with Marilyn Manson, when he's like, okay, I'm done, all of a sudden, you abused me, you kidnapped me. No, didn't you stay over his house and eat? Didn't you spend time, have fun? I mean, and that's what? You call that kidnapping? You call that abuse? I mean, didn't you participate? But I'm not trying to sound insensitive. I truly am not. But Lexa, talking to an associate of hers, and he spent time with her as friends, and she would brag about hanging out with Marilyn Manson. And as she would talk about it, then all of a sudden go to another conversation. And now this is quite interesting because if you were to meet a big time star and you just say a couple of things and go on to something else, people are like, wait a minute, wait, we were just talking. Why are you over here? You would see some kind of disconnect, which he being an associate, I think more so a friend. But then again, people have different definitions of being a friend and being an associate and what that means to people individually. So he said associate, I'm going to keep it as associate. And so he said something rather interesting. He said, why not invite him or some other people to go with her when she went to go meet Marilyn Manson after a concert? She was like, no, no, no. He doesn't like that. And you see how Marilyn Manson is out in public signing autographs and meeting people. But that was her. Now, Lexa Vonn filed sexual battery charges against Marilyn Manson in 2017. She thanked Corey Feldman on the Twitter, alleged that Marilyn Manson held her at knife point, cut her, and inflicted injury upon her person with various objects. She alleges or the allegations are like those by Evan Rachel Wood. Manson had a blood pact with her. That's where you cut yourself and you know before grape juicing her. And I'm not dismissing anything. It seems like it's so far out there. I mean, something like you're in your own movie. And I have to say now, if Marilyn Manson is doing this, hypothetically, just stick with me. Hypothetically, if he's doing this, then every woman whom he gets with happens to have some kind of mental illness with a big dose of delusion. It is it is, how can I say, for him to get all these women and they all have this delusion, it's like lightning striking the same spot over and over and over again. Okay. Now, let me see. As Marilyn Manson abuse allegations continue to make headline news, people are looking at the past report statements and interviews with the shock rocker. Though Lexa Vonn's case didn't result in legal action against the 52-year-old whose proper name is Brian Hughes Warner, Lexa made her voice heard on social media. Now she says that it could have been louder if Metoo movement stood behind her and they didn't. Now she said, Lexa tweets, she thanks Corey Feldman for being the sole voice who spoke up against Marilyn Manson back in 2017. Like Lexa, Corey Feldman had his own allegations of abuse against Marilyn Manson, with his own account stemming back to 1997. Lexa history with Marilyn Manson goes back to 1995, so the two had been familiar with Marilyn Manson for decades. Because my thing was, okay, if she knew Marilyn Manson back at that time, 2017, and back at that time throughout the years, she had to come in contact with Evan Rachel Wood. And if he did, what type of manipulation, if there were any, did Evan Rachel Wood placed on her? Just a thought, right? And he said she had to have met Evan Rachel Wood, that she met Evan Rachel Wood because she was talking about seeing Marilyn Manson in contact at concert, spending time with him. Now he wanted to go a week before. Something occurred and she went without him. It's like, fine, okay, you're being flaky. So that he went the next week and saw Marilyn Manson, and he was coming out of some parking area to try to get to where he was going to go. And he and some other people were there, and he stopped and he signed autographs. He looked over, there was Evan Rachel Wood. So it would be easy to say or even believe that if Evan Rachel Wood was with him there that week, it's 9 times out of 10 that she was with him when Marilyn Manson was supposed to meet up with Lexa Vonn. Now, what do you think about Lexa Vonn? Just tell me, what do you think? And thank you for stopping by.